It's the SKOR North Twins Show. Baseball.
If the Minnesota Twins can play the Chicago White Sox all the time, then you're talking about championship aspirations. SKOR North Twins Show. Mackey, Judd, Dex here. Twins wrapping up a 3-game series with the White Sox. Then they got the Halos coming to town. Hit the like button and subscribe button here on the SKOR North Twins Show YouTube channel. We're getting closer to 5,000 subs, so thank you so much for everyone who has subscribed. Random Twin of the Week. I don't think it'll be as painful as last week's debacle, but no promises. Maybe I'll get you guys off the scent.
It was painful because of you two specifically not knowing who Harmon Killebrew was, apparently. Apparently, Harmon Killebrew is just this random player. Yeah.
Always remember that if a random twin who has not been used, a random twin is referenced in the previous 2 weeks, Phil will use that guy as the random twin. That's the rule of thumb.
It's a good tell. Speaking of poker, we were talking about poker on Purple Daily. That's a good poker tell from Phil. If a random twin's name is in the ether in the last 2 weeks, we know that it might be, if it's Phil's turn, for him to grab it. Hey, so I have just a grab bag of different stuff that I've heard and gleaned over the last few days just at Target Field. So we can get into some stuff about Royce, Luke Keaschall, some other stuff. But before we do, Park Dental, Phil. Tell us about Park Dental.
Yeah, I'm smiling after the last 2 games. The Twins are winning baseball games, and I'm smiling with the teeth that have been cleaned by Park Dental. Over 50 years, Park Dental has been caring for and cleaning teeth in Minnesota and Western Wisconsin. And if you're looking for a better dentist experience, maybe a new dentist for whatever reason, like I was, you can probably within like 5 minutes drive to a Park Dental wherever you live in the Twin Cities, or you can check them out at parkdental.com. They've, like I said, half-century experience cleaning teeth. And it was, some of the reviews this is what I do. Like, I creep on the internet for reviews before I commit myself to, someone putting their hands on my pearly whites. And a lot of comments like, I would never see another dentist. The entire staff is amazing. I go out of my way to see my dentist at Park Dental. So again, check them out at parkdental.com.
Baseball.
All right, let's start with Royce here. So yesterday, Royce Lewis was not just doing sprints, fellas. He was sliding as well. Sliding into bases. Feet first, though, not head first. Feet first, not head first. Royce caught up with some reporters after his pregame workout. He's also been swinging a lot. When the Twins are away, he's taking like 50 pitches a day in the simulated cage. So he's swinging a lot. He's running. He's moving. If all things go according to plan, and we're recording this early on Thursday morning, we'll have probably some clarity on this by the time people are consuming this episode before first pitch to wrap up the series against the Twins and White Sox. Royce should be likely heading towards a rehab assignment this weekend. Because he's been out a while, this will probably be a lengthy rehab. That's not just maybe a couple games with, let's just say, the Saints, who I know are in town this weekend. This is probably like a week's worth of rehab at bats in terms of getting reps at third base, DH, not just a couple games, since he's been out for basically the better part of almost 2 months with another injury. But good news, Royce is getting closer to returning to the Twins, and that's obviously a positive because this offense needs him.
So when he does come back, do we project that he goes to third base, Brooks Lee goes down? What's the, because I will say this, Brooks Lee at the plate continues to be definitely a work in progress, but he made another play last night at third base. Like this guy can pick him there. He is really good. So what is the Dex? What is your what's the Dex plan when it comes to fan of the show? Hi, Royce Lewis.
So this is a complicated one, right? Because Luke Keaschall can DH, and he physically can't play the field every day, and he's been awesome. We'll get into how awesome he's been here in just a bit. You could send down Brooks to get bats every day. Rocco hinted at yesterday that Brooks Lee needs to play every day. Like, he can't be a platoon player. And obviously I completely agree. He should be playing every day. So maybe Brooks by process of elimination goes down. Edward Julians, I think, actually made some nice strides here in 2025. I wouldn't say he's untouchable and isn't on the chopping block to be in just going back to the AAA. But Jonah Bride was acquired, so you could DFA Jonah Bride, but they have a lot of different dudes in Keaschall and Larnach who can DH that are probably better suited to be DHs right now than be in the field all the time. Unfortunately, as we know, like by the time Royce comes off the injured list, usually someone else unfortunately gets hurt, and it does end up taking care of itself. I know that's like the classic baseball reporter retort to always use when projecting roster moves back to AAA. But Brooks Lee could be on the chopping block. Julian could be. Jonah Bride's an easy one, but I don't want to just have Brooks Lee on the bench. He needs to be playing every day. And I also don't know what they want to do with Royce in terms of him playing third base every day. Maybe they want him not on his feet all the time. Maybe he gets some of those DH reps. So good, complicated problem, I think, for the Twins to try to figure out.
Yeah, I think it's actually a way easier solution than maybe some people are making it. You're still buried well below 500. I know you're playing the White Sox and the Angels, so you should be able to collect some wins here, but you're not really in a position, to me, to have to grind your teeth about a Jonah Bride or some of these players. You've got some really bright, promising young players right now. And I know that Brooks Lee hasn't completely figured it out at the plate, but for defensive reasons, he's still he doesn't strike out. He puts the ball in play. I wouldn't send him down. I would keep him out there. And now if it's a train wreck after a month and a half and it's maybe diminishing his development, okay, then make that decision. But I'd look at everyone on the position player side and I would say, okay, who are we looking to water and grow and build around for the next 3 to 5 years? And unless you feel like they're just miscast as a major league player right now, they're just completely in over their head, which I would not put, certainly Keaschall is not in that category. I would not put Brooks Lee in that category. I would start with Keaschall, Royce, and Brooks Lee are going to play every single day. Now, maybe Keaschall is DHing because he's played, 5 games, and he's DH'd in 3 of them. He's played second in 2 of them, right? So I would start with those 3 guys, and then the next layer would be, okay, then what do we do with Willie Castro when he's healthy, Edward Julian? If it means that Jonah Bride has to be DFA'd 5 minutes after you brought him on board, sorry, Jonah Bride, I wouldn't be worried about that. I would start with, what are you looking to cultivate for a 3 to 5 year window here, and worry about that first and foremost.
So this gets to the heart of why I asked the question. Here's what I think you should do. I think now is the perfect time because of all of the things that Phil just ran through to move Royce to second base. You don't have a second baseman. Julian is a butcher. Keaschall can play second in the outfield, but quite frankly, I don't know that he's ingrained there. He definitely belongs in your lineup, but I think that's more of an opportunity to, hey, if he could play second sometimes, that's great. But I think now is the time to pull the trigger. If you think Brooks Lee should stay, because I think he is a big league third baseman who is easily your best. And this is not a shot at Royce. He's just easily the best third baseman I've seen that they've had. And
Royce would be one of the best hitting second basemen in the entire league if he stays healthy.
And I also think that Royce is, if he can stay healthy, of course, a good enough athlete to play second base and become good there. So because of your circumstances, I think I would go Royce at second, Carlos at short, Brooks Lee at third.
By the way, we do have breaking news that helps fill this out.
Yes, we do.
Willie Castro finally placed on the 10-day injured list, so we sort this roster crunch out.
I heard it again last night on the telecast. He basically was buying his own time too. I think it'll be fine, and then I can get back. If this is true, what are we doing? Why are we listening to the player? I would never listen to a player. There are 2 things that you should never listen to athletes about. At least 2. One is, I'll be fine. Don't IL me or don't block. And the other is, in basketball, when a guy commits a foul and you immediately get the review it. I would find any athlete in a reviewable situation. If I'm a coach who does that, I would fine you. I don't want your input. You know nothing.
Yeah, the basketball one's hilarious because it's we got to review that, and you take a look back, and he's just clearly bodying and shoving.
You could punch a guy coming down the lane. Yeah. You could punch him in the face. It's you got to look at that.
Yeah, it is. This has been a thing. It's not just the Twins. Baseball teams they get stuck. This used to happen all the time. I feel like with Nick Punto, who had bad hamstrings, and he'd tweak something. Alexis Casilla had injuries back when I covered the beat, and it was okay. Well, Punto had a hammy flare up, but usually it clears up within a couple days, and then you're 6 days in, and you've been playing shorthanded forever. So I don't know. By the way, on Keaschall and Brooks Lee, one of the biggest problems a couple years ago for this team that they've tried to eradicate last year and then this year, when they had like Joey Gallo and Michael A. Taylor, they were one of the biggest strikeout offenses in baseball. So you could immediately chop off like 25% or whatever it was of plate appearances as automatic outs because of how often they struck out. And what I love about the first 22 career plate appearances for Keaschall and then the first 30 plate appearances this year for Brooks Lee, so 52 combined plate appearances from two of your top like 4 prospects, a combined 6 strikeouts in 52 plate appearances.
Yeah.
Those guys are putting the ball in play. Now, Keaschall is driving it more than Brooks Lee is, but I think like that's a sign of a guy who knows how to command the batter's box and who knows how to keep at bats alive and be patient and look for pitches. So those are like I would keep an eye on that trend as a positive. They've both drawn more walks than strikeouts.
Yeah.
And they've barely had a cup of coffee each in the major league so far. So I don't know, I'm really bullish on both those guys.
Yeah, I mean, Keaschall's only struck out 116 times in 148 games in the minor leagues. And I mean, that's all he's played in the minors so far. He's a professional hitter. They put a rookie, a guy with 4 to 5 games of major league experience, batting third in their lineup. And Carlos Correa is struggling, and other guys are struggling to get going. But this is where a guy like Keaschall can step in effortlessly because he looks like a professional hitter. And that's where leaning into Royce and Keaschall, I think, is huge. It is reminiscent of what they did 25 years ago when they called up the get to know him squad, basically. And that started a big dynasty for the division championship dynasty.
A division dynasty. It was a division dynasty.
Thank you.
Kind of stopped once October hit, but yeah, that's right.
But Keaschall's speed, man, this is insane because like the Twins have finished dead last in Major League Baseball in 4 of the seasons Rocco Baldelli has been at the helm. And it's not as if Rocco doesn't want to be advantageous on the bases. They just have physically had the slowest teams in baseball for the majority of that stretch. Go back to the Bomba squad, right? Nelson Cruz was their best hitter. He also was probably the slowest man in Major League Baseball. Carlos Santana last year, wizard with the glove, but let's be honest, dude's not going to be able to run too fast. Christian Vasquez gets at bats. They now have an opportunity here, and I'm not saying they're going to be now, a Ricky Henderson times 9, and they're just going to be stealing all these bags. But for the first time, with Buck being 100% healthy, and I know he still strikes out a lot, but if Buxton can steal bases, Keaschall can steal bases, you can move people over. I mean, look at what Cleveland's done the last few years. When Rocco was playing with Tampa Bay, right? Like small balling you to death. It's so funny how baseball at sometimes comes right back around to the things you are trying to get around from, right? Like we've leaned so much into power hitting and strikeouts and walks. And then the sinker baller and 2-seamer went away. And now all of a sudden we got guys throwing sinkers again and 2-seamers in again. Like it's funny how baseball comes right back around to where it used to be where like, oh, get that style of ball out of here. And now it's like, oh no, bring it back because it actually works. What Keaschall and Bucks can bring at the top of their lineup when they do get on base. I mean, that dude tried to pick off Keaschall twice on 2 pickoff attempts. He can't throw over there again. It's like, dude, now he's going to run. I don't know what you were thinking there.
Right.
So that speed part is huge for the Twins. And it also adds a layer of fun that this team just doesn't really have a lot of.
So the Twins are a year late here. The first 2 years of Baldelli, or the first couple of years, I don't blame him because when they made the bases bigger and put in the rules of you can't throw, it's at that point in time that I think that you at least should have started to run a little bit more. But it appears now that they've identified it. We could talk about like there is an interesting discussion about what point in time. How much Buxton didn't do things because he was truly hurt, and then once he started to get healthy, because I mean he is a terror. Like one of the biggest calling cards because he hits home runs, he strikes out quite a bit, but when he gets on base, right? Byron Buxton is probably still at what, approximately the age of 30, remains one of the biggest nightmares on the bases. But I give the Twins credit because they finally deducted that, oh, baseball wants us to run. Like, some of this stuff comes back around because baseball tweaks its rules because they're like, wait, the stolen base was fun. Like, home runs are great, but the stolen base was fun. Let's increase the size of the bases a little bit. Let's make it impossible for pitchers to pick guys off. If they miss the first 2 times, then you basically know that a guy that can run, can steal bases, is going to. So I give the Twins credit for finally arriving at the conclusion of, oh, okay, we can do this. And it's basically rigged towards you to be successful now, which is great.
Yeah, and I agree that they have been putting forth more of an effort. It helps to have Keaschall. Keaschall has a third of the Twins stolen bases through the first few weeks. But even with that extra effort, they're still 23rd in stolen bases so far this year. And I think in terms of attempts, they're right around the same. Yeah, they only have 20 attempts, 16 of 20 on the season. So let's like, nice job. Like, you're taking some advantage
to do
here.
It, though.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of other teams that have twice as many stolen bases as the Twins, including the Cubs, Brewers, Mariners, Pirates, Red Sox, Rays. The Reds have 26, Phillies have 26. So they're on the path, but it's not like they've gone from bottom 3 in stolen bases to now it's like, oh, they're third in the entire league.
This is going to be a really sad statement from me, but because the season sucks. These White Sox games are impossible. I've watched them. It's just like
last night was brutal.
It's like literally going into a classroom and someone dragging their fingernails across a chalkboard for 2 hours.
The Twins should have scored 14 runs in that game.
I know, it's so painful and it's terrible. But anyway, I was going to say, I keep coming back to one thing, and we talked about this with Plouffe. It is so nice to see Buxton doing some things that Buxton can do. And I know it might not last, and I know he might get hurt, knock on wood, hopefully not today. But like the stolen base thing, I sort of geek out when I see it because I'm just like, yes, that's what we expected so long ago. Like, that's what we expected. So I am partially like biased because it's just such a thrill to see Buxton doing Buxton things. And to Patrick's point a couple of days ago, and I think that he's right about this, like there was a time where we never thought that we would see these things again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think there's still some more work to do to make the overall product more fun. But yeah, like it got to Dex's point, it got so far toward home run, walk, strikeout, and analytics are telling you it's too risky to steal bases because if you don't hit a certain percentage of success rate, it actually negates your run scoring potential and this, that, and the other. And even with the shift, it's like, okay, I could do the right thing and hit a ground ball to the right side of the infield to move a guy from second to third, which is still like, if you're a diehard baseball fan, that's an inside the game thing. But when you have 3 fielders standing on that side, it is fun that they've opened some of this stuff back up so that you can enjoy the little things in baseball for sure.
Yeah, Buck with 5 stolen bases already. He had 7 last season, and Buxton's 89% stolen base percentage is the greatest percentage in Major League history. I know it's only 98 career stolen bases, but that is still the highest success rate for stolen bases of all time in Major League history. So when he runs, he goes.
Third base is next. Third. It's going to be his first stolen. He should, if and when he steals third, he should take the base out of the holder
Ricky
and
Henderson?
go Ricky Henderson and hold it above his head and say, I finally stole third base.
Stop the game for a ceremony. It's going to be oh my gosh. Okay, can I jump in with a quick question? You put out a very controversial photo a couple days ago of the first game of the series. It was announced that whatever the attendance was, 10,000 or 11,000 or something. So last night was 12,000 something. How many people were actually in the ballpark for that game?
Oh, I don't know. I actually thought because the crowd on Tuesday eventually, filled in a little bit more as the game went on. By filled in, I mean just it wasn't as sparse as my photo made it look out, I guess. But I thought there was less people there last night. It's funny how the tickets sold. I know it's tickets sold. It's not the actual butts in the seats that are there. But I thought it actually looked more sparse yesterday than it did on Tuesday. And look, also, no one wants to see White Sox and Twins. I don't blame. I'm going, and it's painful. It was almost a 3-hour, 10 pitching changes affair. There's stolen bases, pickoff attempts, all that stuff. But Yeah, I thought there was actually less people there yesterday than there were on Tuesday just by an eye test.
So part of the Twins, I find this to be intriguing. I have, for the most part, sang the praises of Twins TV because I think it's been pretty good, partially because I think Corey is outstanding.
Provis is awesome. Yep.
But they have, and this is great for certain plays, but sometimes when they come back from break, they show the camera on a wire, which is really a cool shot, right? But they show the stadium, which of course is a gorgeous stadium. It remains a gorgeous stadium. But like last night,
empty,
they came back and showed it, and I'm like, you guys are basically advertising. There's no one in the building.
I thought about that the last homestand. Yeah, because it's you're trying to show off the awesome technology and the wire cam, and it's cool technology. But my first thought wasn't, oh, this is cool technology. It was, ugh. There's like 6 people in the crowd, and you're showing it. This is Declan and I are big wrestling fans, and what happens when you have like sparsely attended wrestling events, but you've got like the hard cam of the ring, and then maybe like the camera that shows the aisle that the wrestlers are walking down. So if there's only like 4,000 people in the arena, they will put those people where you can, so it looks like the arena is full on camera. That's what they should do with the Twins, and it looks like they might be doing that.
They tried last year.
Hey, come on down to the Champions Club.
April and May, they closed off the upper decks.
Yeah. I mean, they should legitimately consider. I think I saw someone tweet at us that, so I don't know, this is unverified, that if you buy a ticket and it's like an upper deck ticket, that they are now immediately offering you, they'll like send you an email that says, hey, if you'd like to complimentary, just come on down and get a seat upgrade. Because it looks bad when you've got, because if you're going to go to a game, you might just buy the cheapest ticket. We always do that and just walk around, maybe never hit our seats. Mm-hmm. But hey, if there's like 20 of those Champions Club seats open, or whatever they're calling the Legends Club, come on, let's. You want to bring fans back to the ballpark? The Twins right now are 5th to last in attendance, just ahead of the White Sox, and then further down you've got like the Marlins, who just can't draw anyone. You've got the Rays, who have never drawn anyone, and then the Athletics are playing in a minor league stadium.
And the Rays
capacity
are too.
Like 12,000, and the Rays are too. Yep, that's right, because their roof collapsed. So they're going to be capped at like 10,000. So if you take those teams out, the Twins are basically 3rd from the bottom in attendance. And my question to the organization would be, for anyone that might be confused about why people aren't coming to the ballpark, if you listed out the reasons why people would clamor to spend, let's say $100 a head, when you account for ticket, beer prices, everything. It's kind of, it's you can get in cheap tickets, but once you get in, you're still paying like $14 for a beer. List out the reasons why you would come and watch a baseball team. To their credit, there's a couple things they're doing strategically better as a team. Stealing bases is fun. Luke Keaschall can be fun. Not a household name yet. Byron Buxton, untethered, playing every day, allowed to steal bases, right? Making diving catches. Those things are fun. But the Twins have just kind of whittled away the reasons why you would come and spend $100 a head on your family to watch a baseball game. And they have to focus on winning more games, unleashing their fun players to do fun things like steal bases and be healthy, which is sort of out of their control.
Right.
But it is a crazy referendum. They had, if you take away the 3 pandemic years, 20, 21, and 22 was like a lingering pandemic year. Last year was the lowest attendance per game in Target Field history, 24,000 per game. They're averaging 8,000 fewer per game right now than they were a year ago. 8,000 fewer per game than their worst attended non-COVID season.
Among the fatal mistakes, though, is if the poll ads weren't serious about selling, announcing that they were going to has created a real, I think it's created a huge, I mean, people didn't like them already.
They already thought they were disconnected and kind of out on
and then
trying
you announce,
to win a World Series. Yeah, now you're really out.
And then you announce, we're going to be disconnected and out for good. And then you come back and you're like, oh, we're not sure about that.
Sure about that?
Like you need to, I'm not saying, I understand why you put the team on the market to gauge prospective buyers, but I'm just saying the reality is if they don't sell it, like if this now just, goes into a holding pattern, that's caused a lot of people, I think, to be even more upset than they were if they were upset or not completely checked out themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy because there was times on Tuesday and Wednesday where like I can hear Byron Buxton clear as day from the press box say, "I got it, I got it, I got it," from the outfield. Like you can hear the glove smack and you can hear the swearing from the pitchers, from the hitters. Like
Keaschall.
Judd and I were there for the 2020 like actual pandemic season. No fans at all, spaced out in the press box, entering like we're going through customs times 10. And that was, a situation because Rich Hill would just be basically swearing every single pitch as the ball left his hand. It is kind of freaky when you're there at a major league game and you can hear all that stuff clear as day because there's no fans in the stands.
Keaschall dropped an awesome F-bomb last night. He got hit on the hand.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And Provis goes, let's look at this and listen to it because it's clear as day that his hand sounds like the bat, right? Like it sounds like it hurts like hell. But what they didn't, I don't think, gauge for, or they didn't care, which is awesome, was it was followed by a F. He just screamed it, and it reverberated throughout the ballpark.
Love that guy.
A few other notes here, and then I'll give you a random twin. So Pablo Lopez, I think, will be in line to start tomorrow for Game 1 against the Angels, so he will be activated. David Festa is going back to St. Paul. I liked what Festa brought. He for sure has some really good stuff. Yes, it was certainly not as sharp as he was in the first two starts. He has a trouble, I think, going in long into games, and he was pulled in the fifth inning for the third consecutive start. But Pablo on track to come back through like 62 pitches in a rehab start on Saturday, through a bullpen of like 25 on Tuesday. I believe should be in line to start on Friday to make his return, which is obviously encouraging as well.
Yeah. All right. Man, Festa, real quick. I know that he might have like a third time through the order thing here that a lot of pitchers do, but he's got some stuff, man.
He's got
some nice stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think he's probably still, unless he really develops like a third pitch, because that slider's been good for him, I still probably see him as more long-term as a really good reliever, but certainly not pulling the plug quite yet, obviously, on him being a capable major league starter either.
Speaking of pulling the plug, if Paddock continues to pitch like he's had Dex, back-to-back pretty good appearances. So let's say he strings together 4 of them or something like that. Do you try to continue to start him and take him into July and trade him? Or is he a guy that if he has like a month of solid starts, you say we're shopping him immediately for fear that it doesn't continue? Because you're not going to get a ton back, I don't think. But the reality is he's a perfect guy to trade.
Yeah, I think it just makes sense for them to move on from him, and him building up value is only good. And yeah, I wouldn't say the return's completely irrelevant, but they tried to shop him this winter. No one was interested.
Right.
I don't blame other teams for necessarily not being interested, but they're going to give him every chance to still be in the starting rotation because of their basically contractual and belief in him. So we'll see what he does in his next few starts here. But yes, he'd be the first one on the chopping block because also you got Andrew Morris, Corey Lewis, the knuckleballer. He's struggling. He's more of also their swing guy. Yeah. That's a long-term thing. But they have some really interesting pitching, obviously with Zebby and Festa and Morris. So yeah, Paddock would be on the chopping block if he continues to pitch well. Absolutely.
Yeah. We're not victory lapping Paddock yet, are we?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm trying to
starts and
I'm like counting the starts and saying ripcord when.
Yeah, and no, I don't think a team is going to be like tricked into giving you their 7th best prospect for a month of.
You're not going to get that regardless. I don't think that's my point. Is I would rather trade him before he goes back to being the sheriff. So I'm just like that's a timing thing.
Well, that's interesting, and we'll get to a random twin of the week here in just a bit. But they're giving Paddock a bunch of run because of his commitment of salary and his contract and stuff. Well, now they're going to start giving Ryan Jeffers more at bats. I think Vasquez is catching potentially the series finale, but they've been 50-50. Like Rocco is very adamant, no matter who the catchers have been, 50-50. Every other game we rotate. Due to the state of the offense, and Ryan Jeffers had a really good night at the plate yesterday. But they're going to give Jeffers more at bats going forward, maybe more of like I didn't hear like an actual percentage, but certainly Jeffers will be getting more starts behind the dish to give him more opportunities at the plate because they should be giving Ryan Jeffers more opportunities at the plate.
I know that part of this is with both Paddock and Vazquez. You're paying those dudes, $10 million. Like Vazquez makes $10 million, right?
Yeah.
And it was a multi-year contract. I feel like they've been trying to make things happen that aren't happening for a couple years now. So, and now if this is true now and Jeffers is going to play, you're not going to play every single day necessarily as a catcher, but last year it was like 60-40 Jeffers. Jeffers played 122 games, Vazquez 93. Jeffers 465 plate appearances, Vazquez 300. So it was like kind of like a 60-40 split leaning toward Jeffers. But Jeffers was worth 2.5 wins above replacement. Vazquez was worth minus 0.2 wins above replacement. So you're literally like now they might say Jeffers, if given more workload at that position, his performance would erode and he wouldn't perform at that pace, which I might argue. This year, though, the trend is the same. Like, it's not even like Jeffers' bat has been monster, but it's been a serviceable kind of average catcher bat or above average catcher bat.
Right.
And he holds his own behind the plate.
Yes.
He's been worth, in 3 weeks, he's been worth a half win above replacement. It's a cumulative stat. And Vazquez has been worth a half win below replacement. So it is fair to say, over the last couple of years, every single day that you decide to play Vazquez over Jeffers, you are hurting your team's chances to win a baseball game.
Yes. Vazquez signed a 3-year contract, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the last year of it.
Has a 3-year contract ever felt this long? I feel like he's been here for 7 years.
I could give you some pictures from about 10 years ago.
But he just feels like a guy who's like, it's only been 3 years.
Yeah.
Because it feels like after year 1, they started to try to like shop him a little bit, and they're like, "Hey, it's Vazquez. He's won a World Series," and teams like, "No, we're good."
It's so bad. So by the way, wins above replacement includes everything. It includes your position, your defense, your offense, your base running, everything. And for the duration of that contract, which again they're paying $30 million flat over 3 years, so they're paying $30 million over 3 years.
Yep.
And he has been worth so far minus 1.1 wins above quote unquote replacement. So, and a replacement level player is kind of vaguely defined in the analytical community, but it's a quad A caliber player that you would bring up from the minor leagues he's a major leaguer kind of, but he's just a guy that you could find at the top of your AAA stack who, might be a 28-year-old career minor leaguer that you would pay league minimum for. So they could have, in retrospect, paid league minimum for literally anyone else the last 3 seasons,
yes,
and maybe saved some of that money to go, I don't know, keep a Sonny Gray or someone.
They could have gone and re-signed Henry Blanco at the age of like 52 now, and just said, "Hey, catch sometimes, Henry."
How let's closest to the pin. How old is Henry Blanco right now?
I'd say he's at least 51.
Ooh, 53. 53.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good guy.
Henry Blanco.
Do a random twin of the week, but before we do that here, NABC, Phil.
Yes, Dex. Let's talk about banks. You can take this to the bank.
The bank.
North American Banking
I'm Judd,
Company.
by the way. Hi, everybody.
North American Banking Company, 6 locations across the Twin Cities: Maple Grove, Roseville, Shoreview, Hastings, Woodbury, 50th in France. And whether you're looking for something basic, just a better checking and saving situation, or whether you're looking for a big move, like you're looking to buy a home, you need help with the mortgage process, you're looking to finance a car, a renovation, starting a new business, North American Banking Company can help give you peace of mind about where you bank. They've been Minnesota-based since 1998. They understand the Twin Cities and our lifestyles here. And you can sense that when you walk into any of those 6 locations. Go to nabankco.com/Mackey to learn more. That's nabankco.com/Mackey, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Also, we are looking to raise some awareness all throughout the next few weeks for an important cause. Suicide affects the construction industry specifically, and we can all play a part in saving lives. Make a difference for those who build our communities by hiking on Saturday, May 31st at Legends Crossings at Vikings Lakes in Eagan. You can help spread awareness and understanding and send the message that help is available and raise funds for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Join us for Construction Hike for Hope by visiting afsp.org/mnconstruction. That's afsp.org/mnconstruction. All right. Let's party.
Let's party. All right. Random twin of the week. There it is. Random twin of the week. So last week we had Harmon Killebrew, and it was a painful
Let's not talk about it.
Canal-esque performance from me and Judd, who Judd ended up being victorious. Other ones we've done: Danny Coulomb, Bull Buchanan, Jeff Rabelais, Sam Deduno. So let's go here. This random twin of the week. Here's your first clue. Played in 1,000 games in the majors.
Like exactly?
1,001 actually.
Okay.
1,001 game. This random twin played for 7 big league teams.
I'm going to control F. I'm going to control F here.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I should get the random twin list up.
Okay, we did that guy. Okay.
At one point in the minor leagues, this random twin had 122 RBI in one minor league season.
Sounds like Hack Wilson.
In fact, he had 2 seasons of 100+ RBI in the minors.
Just mashing in the minors.
Wow.
But bouncing around in the bigs.
Bill James once said about this random twin of the week, he should have had a much better career than he did, and he lost a lot of his career to other people's stupidity. That's an exact quote from Bill James on this random twin.
Smartest man in the room, Bill James. Interesting quote.
Others' stupidity.
In other words, old school baseball people.
Yeah.
Who
But
didn't
wow,
use
and
analytics.
why would that affect?
This random twin hit 307 in the minor leagues and 296 in the major leagues.
Oh,
Dude could hit.
I was going to say, that's not nothing to be embarrassed about.
Is it him? No, it's not. He didn't hit 297.
This random twin was worth 13-point wins above replacement in his time with the Twins.
So it's like Bill James sounds like he's calling the Twins stupid.
7 big league teams. I mean, there's a lot of. He had a 13.
0.4 WAR with the Twins. Here's maybe another clue for you.
Yeah, okay.
He was worth negative 1.1 WAR total with all other teams, not with the Twins.
Oh, man.
Well, it sounds like the Twins maximized him. And
Yeah, I'll give you this. That Bill James quote isn't necessarily directed at the Twins.
no, clearly not. Okay, so we're missing a little bit of key context here on his Twins career. So continue.
This random twin hit very well in the postseason, too. A career .318 average in the playoffs. 17 total playoff games.
We done this guy?
17.
Yeah, we've done him. 17 playoff games.
It's a lot of playoff games, man.
We've done a guy I just thought of.
Would have been 7.
That guy wasn't.
10. He's right in that wheelhouse.
We talked about strikeouts earlier in the podcast. In those 1,001 big league games, this random twin struck out just 188 times.
Oh, wow.
Only 188 Ks.
He had 188 strikeouts and drew 133 walks.
Is this Bobby Kilty?
Bobby Kilty is incorrect.
It's possible we've done him already.
I don't think he played for that many teams, did he? Played for
Yeah,
Oakland,
it's a lot of
Toronto,
teams.
Minnesota. So I'm sorry, 188 Ks and 133
Walks. In
walks.
his
Okay.
whole career. Has 1,000 games. I will say, Bill James, ripped other people's stupidity. Maybe the Twins' stupidity was they didn't want to pay him. That's a clue. So he ended up leaving. He was traded. He was traded to end his Twins tenure because they didn't want to pay his salary.
They didn't
Like
want to pay him.
A classic cheap pull ad move.
No, it wouldn't be this guy.
What?
Maybe this will help with the era. This random twin is 65 years old.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so.
Oh man. Okay.
So we're going way back. Way back. Hold on a second here. This is right in my wheelhouse now. I feel like I can feel it come up. 17 playoff games.
So he was born in 1960.
Wait. 7 teams. He's 60. Yeah, what's
The Twins didn't want to pay him.
I'm getting this from Wikipedia.
Okay.
Despite his career year, the small market Twins decided they could not afford blank and his salary and traded him to the Cubs.
Well, Judd. Come on, Judd. You got this now. I've got one incorrect guess, right? So I still have 2 left.
Yep.
Yeah. You got 2 left. They traded him to the Cubs. I mean, this is
65 years old now.
Oh God. Who did the Twins trade to the Cubs?
Oh, wait a minute. Let me make sure I have this right.
Oh, whoa.
Oh no.
Wikipedia lied to me. Wikipedia lied to me.
Oh God, this is.
What are we even doing here?
I was so down on myself for a second. Now I was gonna skip the draft party, go below my covers and cry, and now you tell me that you were wrong.
I was wrong. He was granted free agency and then went from the Twins to the Brewers.
Larry Heisel.
Larry Heisel is incorrect.
Oh. From the Twins to the Brewers.
He played in 2 World Series. One in the American League, one in the National League.
So wait, so he immediately went from Minnesota to Milwaukee?
Yeah.
Okay, Heisel did that.
I mean, this is Judd all the way here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless I swoop in.
Good defensive player, too. Good at the plate. Tough guy to get out.
From the Twins to Milwaukee. Oh my gosh. But that age, he would have been a key contributor on a team that won the World Series, right? Like, that's a clue, right? I mean, he would have been
Yep.
just going around the diamond.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm doing. So he's 65, so he was born in
1959.
1959. Well, people are
From
probably
San-
yelling at their things again.
Yep.
They should be. They
We've already done Steve Lombardozzi, so it's not Declan pulling
And
a
you
fast
said he
one
went
on a
from.
callback.
And just to be clear, you said he signed with the Brewers as a free agent after a stint with the Twins,
According to Baseball Reference, yes.
because the Twins wouldn't pay him. which is not so totally surprising. So that would have put him at DH.
Part of a very infamous play in Twins World Series history.
This is insane. I feel like there's a missing link here, or like there's a missing.
Hold on. So,
you got to give another clue.
Part of an Chili Davis.
Chili Davis is incorrect.
Judd's got one more left.
Well, I'm gonna fire my bullets. He didn't go to Milwaukee though.
No, he went to like the Angels and
because he'd been in
13 WAR with the Twins. This is crazy.
By far his best years were with the Twins.
This is gonna kill me when it comes out. It's gonna kill me when it comes out. But I'm literally trying to think of who went to Milwaukee, because it's not like Milwaukee had all the money in the world.
Yeah, I can't think of any
either.
Twins to Milwaukee connections in that era. This is what's struggling.
So
for me.
wait. So he was on a Twins World Series team. You just said that.
Yep.
Gagnon went to Kansas City. Gaetti went to California.
It's not Gladden.
Gladden didn't. Puck obviously never left.
I mean, I'll say. Was it Shane Mack?
Shane Mack is incorrect, and I think we've done Shane Mack.
Wait. So right field.
Is that your second guess?
We did Shane Mack like a month ago.
Not
Yeah, we're both down to our last guess.
It's not
okay
because we do got to go.
So okay, yeah. So 91.
In 91 with the Twins, he hit 311. In 92 with the Twins, he hit 307. In 93 with the Twins, he hit 304. A forgotten soldier of a very good World Series Twins team.
Wait. So go back. So in 91, what years did you just give for him?
91, he hit 311. 92, hit 307. 93, hit 304. Then left. Played with the Brewers in 94, Oakland in 95. We've gone through the 10-minute loop.
This is wild.
Left field was Gladden again. Center field was Puckett again.
Oakland. He batted 300 for those teams?
Yeah. Hit 333 in the 1991 playoff run with the Twins.
This is insane.
I literally am going through every position.
Me too.
And the DHs. I mean, I can name you every player on those teams, on both teams, every positional player. This is a guy that started clearly or played a ton.
Yep.
I can name you every player, and I cannot.
I almost want to collaborate with you on this to see if we can get it together.
I cannot name the guy.
Brian Harper is not an official guess, but like, it's not Brian Harper, and he batted 300 for the Twins. Oh, is it Brian Harper?
It's Brian Harper.
What?
Oh my God.
It's Brian Harper. I don't know how we want to decide who won that. I guess it's technically
I won it.
No.
What do you mean? How do you decide?
No. Phil won. That was Brian Harper.
Brian Harper.
Wow.
What?
Okay.
So wait, he played for 7 teams?
Yeah. He bounced around. He had stints with the Twins, the Pirates, the A's, the Angels, the Brewers, the Cardinals, the Tigers.
Holy cow. I thought of Brian Harper like earlier in the experiment. I was like, he didn't play for 7 teams, did he?
No, and I had no idea that he knocked in that. His minor league career was that.
Caught Game 7, executed a 3-2-3 double play with Herbeck.
Yeah.
In Game 7 of the World Series.
Yeah. Wow.
Let's go.
Brian Harper, man, good Lord, sorry. Didn't think we were.
No, that was
15 minutes again with Random Twin of the Week.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what's going on. All right.
Hit the like button and subscribe button here as we painfully get through another edition
of
Random Twin of the Week. We got to go. Talking at you guys soon.